Brilliant. I've just got one last thing to say.
Go for it.
Keep stacking, take care, and goodbye.
Hello future investors, and welcome back to another weekly episode. Today's video is something very, very special, and it's the first time for me here on YouTube. I am doing a joint live episode with another precious metals YouTuber, the up and coming, the Stack Collector.
Hello.
Hello mate, welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me here, Future. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, it's a pleasure to have you here as well. And I think this is a first for the both of us, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
So what we're going to be doing today is we did a recent community tab on both of our channels, requesting any questions that you guys might have that you would like to know. Sort of any questions really, and we've got a pretty good variety. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of those questions that the Stack Collector and myself got on our community post. So let's start off with the first question I've got is from Currency of Earth, and they said, when did you start collecting and stacking? So I'll pass that one over to you, the Stack Collector.
Okay, yeah, it's a two-part question. So the first part, when did I start collecting? It's kind of been my whole life. My dad was a coin collector before me. He's passed some of my collection on to me, but even as a kid, normally it would be the dinged up pennies that weren't worth a lot, but he'd give me a few and I'd keep them in a little collection. And over the years, I've just added to it a little bit more at a time. And then I like the commemorative 50p's. I got quite into collecting those just in my change originally, and it just went from there on the collecting. Stacking on the other side is a different matter. I've actually only been properly stacking since the beginning of this year. Yeah, so I've had pieces of silver in my collection, but until only a few years ago, I didn't even know it was silver, pre-1947 stuff. So I think what triggered me was learning that actually I've already got quite a bit of silver. So I took it from there. I started looking into. At first, I was looking into jewelry. I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought gold and silver jewelry was the way to go, and then I came across bullion, and it just makes every sense for the capital gains reasons and price reasons. Bullion is just it's the best way to stack.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I started I've always been a bit of a collector throughout my years, collecting all sorts of different things. But it was more so in about 2020 that I started collecting commemorative edition like British 50p coins with like the images that are on the back. Because what I always found amazing was you find them in your change, and some of them can be worth a lot more than their face value. It's rare that some of them are worth a lot, but it can happen. So I started basically collecting those British 50p, £2, 10p coins with those designs on the back. And in regards to stacking, say bullion, in around 2020, I had a fair bit of savings, and I've always wanted to invest in something, but I was too worried to invest in something risky. So I was doing a lot of research, and eventually I came across gold bullion, like you can see here, and I realized the more I looked into it, I realized it was such a wise investment, and it was really quite safe. So I started buying small fractional gold, like the 1 gram gold bars here. Mostly it was the Royal Mint I started off with, but then as I got more and more confident, I moved on to things like PAMP, and as you can see, I've got some of my stack here. So yeah, I started investing really in about 2020, so sort of the last 3 years.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next question, I'll pass it over to you, the Stack Collector.
Okay, yeah. So my first question comes from a great YouTuber, 365 Days of Silver.
Yes.
And it's actually a three-part question, which is, what are your hobbies besides stack collecting? Do you have any pets? And what are your long-term plans and goals for the channel?
Wow, great questions. Do you want to start with that, mate?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. The first one, I'm very excited to answer. I've got a few hobbies. I do a bit of rock climbing.
Oh,
I'm a qualified scuba diver.
oh wow.
I enjoy fishing, specimen fishing, so that's large carp, barbel, that kind of thing. And another hobby which I really love to do is I make miniature models.
Okay.
So you might know from the channel, and also from the fact that I've got Game of Thrones map as my backdrop. But I'm quite into medieval fantasy kind of things like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. So that's the kind of thing I make, and I've got a couple of bits here to show you if you'd like to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sort of into the similar stuff as well. So yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. So
yeah.
these are in various stages of completion. So first off, I've got a couple of little market stores which I've just started putting together there. That's how they start off looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one here that's a bit more finished.
Oh, wow.
That's how that's looked. There's a little well I'm working on here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That's coming along. It's about half complete. That one is a little log store.
Yeah.
You see, we're getting more and more completed. I made all these little tools myself. The heads of the shovels were made out of false nails, and I made cocktail sticks for the handles. Then I've got a couple of these. The best two, I think. This first one's she's not attached on properly, but that's just a little bit of a fountain there. Some water in, and my piece de resistance is my little cottage.
Whoa! Look at that. That must have taken you ages.
Oh, it took me a while. It definitely took me a while. It's
that definitely does look like the sort of era of sort of what you would see in, say, Game of Thrones and stuff like that.
Definitely,
or maybe like Vikings and Valhalla and all that sort of thing.
Exactly, where they still trade in little bartering chips.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. Right, so that's the first one, first part of the question. That's my hobbies. Do I have any pets? Kind of. I have a work unit with my business as a tree surgeon, and a few years ago, on a cold, wet, wintry day, I found a rather distressed-looking cat hiding out in one of his sheds. Now, she's a stray. She lives at the unit, but there's a little bit of an area that's been left for her and made into her little home, and she gets fed every day. And the second I get to work, she comes running up to me, rubbing against my leg, not leaving me alone until I give her some fuss. So I kind of got a pet, but she's definitely her own cat, and she's there by her choice, not by mine. But yeah, that would be my closest to a pet I've got. Yeah. And my long-term plans and goals for the channel is basically just have as much fun as possible with it, grow the stack and collection as much as I can, and as you're aware, with what we're doing with 365 recently, you know, going forward, just offer as much help and assistance to other new stackers as we possibly can do. That's what I'd like to get out of the channel. Yeah.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. It was such a good idea from 365 there. So big shout out to you for that, mate.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
So I guess I'll start with the same questions then. The first one was hobbies.
Yeah.
Great question, that one. It's nice to get to know us as a bit more personal, because obviously we're behind the camera and all you tend to see is like precious metals and finance talk. So yeah, my hobbies. I'm actually a big go-karting fan.
Oh wow!
I actually competed for England 2 years in a row, and I got to the national finals 2 years in a row. It's a very expensive sport, but at the time I was only young. My parents didn't have the money to fund it, so basically this team was short of one driver. So they sent out this application it was open, and basically they wanted to find a third driver for the team, and the fastest driver got a place. So I went to this tryout, and to cut the story short, I was the fastest. And the first year we made it to the national finals. And then the second year we made it to the national finals and came 15th out of 30th. But so that
mid-place.
Sorry?
Mid-place then, not so bad.
Yeah, mid-place. I mean, I'll be honest, when I turned up, all of the kids were sponsored by like Aston Martin. They had all of that on their race overalls, and there was me in some like hired out race overalls. So it was a different league when you got to nationals, but yeah, it was still good. I don't do so much of it now because being an adult, got responsibilities or mortgage and all that sort of stuff. But I do like to do it every now and then as a bit of fun. But really, one of my actual main hobbies right now probably is stacking precious metals and investing and trying to save money because I'm really trying to make a better future for myself. So I would have to say that with future investments is probably my main hobby at the moment because it takes up most of my time. On the second question, do I have any pets? Yes, we have got a 8-month-old German Shepherd named Tommy. He's a big boy, very big actually. He's got bloody big teeth too.
We've seen Tommy in the channel before, haven't we?
Yes, you have. Yeah, he got injured and he's all good now, thankfully. That was a while ago. But yeah, he has featured on the channel. And the third question, what was the third question? I've totally forgotten.
Yeah, no problem. What are your long-term plans and goals for the channel?
Perfect. Yeah, great question as well. My long-term goals and plans for the channel are quite easy to answer for me. I would love for this to become my main top focus of a job. I would love to be able to leave my job and do this full time so I could put 100% effort and time into future investments. And the second plan of that would be to create my own gold bullion dealership, which is definitely on the cards. And I'm working hard to try and make that possible. So they're my two plans for the channel. But as it stands right now, just being where I am with future investments and the support that I get, I'm very pleased at the current period of time I'm at. So, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so great questions by 365. Moving on to another question from Currency Averse. They said, which country's currency is your favourite? So I'll pass it over to you, the Stat Collector.
No, I knew there was going to be some difficult questions coming up, and this is definitely one of those. So let me just check. The question was, which country's currency is my favourite?
Yes, yeah.
So not the bullion, the actual currency.
Yeah, I'll just jump in and say I believe the reason why Currency of Earth has asked that question is because I've had a little bit of a chat with them before, and they collect a lot of foreign currency. So obviously they're a fan of it. So I assume that's why they want to know if we have a particular favourite type of currency from another country.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. So let me have a look. This right here for world currency, you might enjoy this. I've not shown this on the channel before. Oh, this is my little pouch of foreign currency.
Oh wow!
So I've got quite a few pieces in there. Now there's a lot in here that's older pieces. Now there's a little gross in there, like what I sent you. That's an older coin there, Queen Victoria, Ceylon 5 cents. That one is. Now I love the old French stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is an old French. I think this flips that way. If I'm correct. Yeah, there you go. That's an old French penny. And some of these, there's another one, are absolutely incredible. They're just really, really cool. Quite similar to the old British pre-decimal, but they've got some really interesting depictions on them. So I'd have to say my favourite would be French pre-Euro.
Okay, awesome. I think that's definitely a good question because it's not something you'd get asked normally. So yours would be French pre-Euro. Mine would be. I actually really like the look of the American sort of notes, the banknotes, the dollars. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just always intrigued me. I really like the old Western films and the money in that. Some people in America might take offense, but I kind of really see American banknotes as like old Western money. I don't know why, but I really like it. So one day I would like to get my hands on some actual American banknotes, even ones that are in use now, just because I think they look really cool. So that would probably be my favourite look of a currency. But my favourite country's currency would probably be the United Kingdom because how strong the pound is normally around the world. Yeah. So,
fair enough.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll just add there, probably one of your reasons you think that about the American currencies, it's been a long time since they've actually changed their currency. They don't really tend to take money out of circulation what we do they? So I know bank notes have been, because I know in America you can do dime hunts, can't you, where you can actually find pre-65 still in circulation that's got silver in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. I think the UK is probably one of the leading countries that's constantly updating and changing its actual notes. Now we've got those sort of polymer plasticky notes, haven't we? Whereas I think America is still using those real sort of papery, tarnishable notes. But yeah. Okay, so moving on to next question. Have you got anything there for you to answer, Stack Collector?
Yes, I've got a few questions left. Next one is from Ray, who's asked, what started your journey into stacking? Are you hooked? Do you have an end game? Or do you think you'll probably snuff it before you liquidate your stack? Thanks.
Great question.
What a brilliant question. Do you want to go first on that, or do you want me to take it?
I'll go first. The first one that I remember was, do you think you'll snuff it before you liquidate your stack?
Well, I mean, no, the first one, that was the last one. The first one was what started your journey. So we'll start at the beginning. Thank you.
Yeah. What started my journey? Basically, it was the fact, like I said earlier on, I was looking for a safe investment to stick quite a bit of cash in that would look after my wealth. And essentially, once I found out about gold bullion and how it really does protect your wealth against inflation, I got hooked. And it's as simple as that, really.
Yeah. No problem. So yes, that's what started, and yes, you are hooked. You've answered the second question already. So the third one is the end game. Do you think you'll probably snuff it before you liquidate?
If I had children or plan to have children, then the answer would probably be yes, because I believe a lot of people have got kids, hold for their, mostly for their to leave to their descendants, their kids. But I haven't got that. So my stacking end game has always been to sell it for a nice early retirement. I hope to make some other wise investments, maybe with property and a business in that time. But yeah, my simple answer is no, I plan to sell it one day, and hopefully long before I'm going to snuff it. So I'll pass it over to you, mate, and you can answer that one.
Some great answers there. So what started my journey in stacking? Again, we already touched that, haven't we? But like yourself, a few years ago, I got into investments. I got more of a mindset of being better with my money and not spending it as I got it and going out and buying, new clothes all the time, that kind of thing. I wanted to start more investing towards the future. So I got into a number of investments. So like yourself, I got into investing a few years ago. I do have a few different types of investments, but through doing that, and the fact that I already had some silver through my coins, etc., I just thought gold and silver were, as you say yourself in your videos, they're a safe, well, as safe as can be investment that generally will tend to increase in value over time.
Absolutely.
So am I hooked? Hooked, line and sinker. I'm definitely in it for life now. And with myself, like yourself, I don't have any kids myself, but I do have some absolutely angelic nieces. So it's going to be them who inherit when I pass my stack on. So yes, I'm in it for the long haul. There's certain things I may liquidate, like standard Britannias or the more generic items. But there's other pieces that will just never ever be. They just won't ever be sold. They're in the deep stack, as I like to say. Okay.
Yeah, I think, can I just touch on that? I think that's a great answer. So essentially, you may liquidate some to benefit your future and have some cash in the future, but a lot of it and some of the more personal stuff that you like, you're going to leave to your nieces. So a little bit of a good mix there. I think that's really, really nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, who answered? I'll cut this bit, but whose turn is it now to answer a question?
That was my question from Ray. That was, so over to you now, buddy.
Okay, thanks, mate. Okay, so moving on to the next question is from the legend in the YouTube game, 365 Days of Silver, a massively popular YouTuber right now. His question was, do you hold any other investments aside from precious metals? Really good question. I think a lot of people would like to know. So starting off, I'll pass that over to you, mate.
Yeah, brilliant question. As I touched on very briefly earlier, I do hold other investments. Precious metals is actually the last thing I've looked at, or the latest thing at least I've looked to get into investing. I started off, what a lot of investors say is a good place to start, where I look to invest into the S&P 500, sure. Which I still invest into. That's something that's my retirement pot. That's what I'm planning to get rid of when it comes to retiring. So that's specifically what that pot's there for. Then I do trade. I trade on eToro, where I'd like to invest in the tech market, the retail market, and pharmaceuticals. So I'll let you know a few of the companies I invest into. There's a company called On Semiconductors that produce computer components, computer chips, that kind of thing. I invest into them. I invest in Amazon, Johnson & Johnson's, Coca-Cola, and there's one more I invest on that escapes me right now. But yeah, that's my main other investments opposed to precious metals.
Yeah, wow. Some very smart investments there. Definitely sort of the computer chip ones and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, you definitely got the right idea there, I think, for some future investments. Excuse the pun.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. That wasn't planned, that pun, by the way.
Just naturally funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. In regards to me, I'm no way as how should I say, diverse as yourself, mate, in terms of investments. I've got a fair amount of investments in my precious metals stack, such as gold and silver bullion. And right now that is pretty much only focusing on Britannia coins for the benefits of being capital gains tax exempt. So right now I'm really focusing my investments on that. But to the question specifically being, do I have any other investments? Yes, I mean, I've got a mortgage, so you could consider that an investment. And I would say I'm pretty clever with my cars. So I've bought a sports car. Now, hold up a minute, because I know what a lot of people are thinking. That's not an investment. But I will say I've bought a car before. I bought it for £10,000 and I over doubled my money on that car in 3 years, and I drove it every day for 3 years. So I'd like to think I know a little bit about sports cars. So
Can I just interrupt there? Because I'd just like to say, just touching on that, one of my good friends, he actually flips classic cars. So I do know that, yeah, a lot of times you can lose money in cars, but if you know what you're doing and you're buying at the right price, I do know that there is definitely ways to make money through flipping cars as well. So yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say the car I've got is a liability because it takes money out of my pocket. But what I get from it is enjoyment. And because everything's going electric, I've put a lot of money into buying that car. One, for enjoyment, because life's short and I think you should have a happy balance. But two, I do believe that manual petrol popular sports cars will be valuable in the future because of the way everything's pushed forward to being electric. So I think there will be people in the future who have a lot of money that will want to buy those cars because they won't be made anymore. And the other investment I haven't got yet, but I plan on doing, is having my first buy-to-let property in the next 2 years, which I am currently saving up for now. So I'm a lot less diversified than yourself. But yeah, that kind of summarises my current investment portfolio.
Some brilliant investments there, though. I know you've mentioned over time before that you're looking to get a buy-to-let. That's a really good idea going forwards. Property is a great investment. Definitely.
Thank you for that. Okay, so moving on to you, mate, to pass over to the next question.
Yeah, the next question comes from one of my subscribers, Claire Adson, and it's a really good question if you ask me, because what she's asked, hold on, let me just read more. There we go. What she's asked is, what coins make the best investments, and what are these CBDCs I keep hearing of? So, do you want me to start with that, or would you like to start?
Yeah, go for it. You can start with that, and I'll jump on afterwards.
Okay, so the first part, I think this is kind of opinion based, isn't it? What coins make the best investments?
Absolutely.
I would say in generic terms, the best coins, if you're looking for investments, are either bullion or proof. Now, proof's a little bit more of a risky investment. It's not, you're not guaranteed to make money on a proof, but sometimes if you purchase the right one, they can really go up in value. So if you are looking for investments, either just buy a standard bullion. But that's bought for its intrinsic precious metal value, so they will always hold some value and should generally always increase over time. But if you know a bit about coins, try and pick what you think is going to be the popular proof coins, like the original. I know a lot of people use this as an example, but the original 2016 Beatrix Potter series, the Peter Rabbit, goes for roughly around £400 now for a 50p proof, and the Jemima put it up for a 50p proof is around £200. And at the moment, so it would have been cheaper back in 2016, but at the moment, the Royal Mint sells their 50p proofs for £69.50. So as you can see, they can make really good investments. In regards to CBDCs, now this is probably something you can answer better. I've not done a video as of yet on my channel. So do you want to take that part of the question?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't need to add anything to the comment on what coins make the best investment, because I think you said what I would say. There's no right or wrong answer. Investing in gold and silver bullion is the wise thing to do. And I always like the saying of it's better to have some precious metals than no precious metals. So that's our answer for that one. But yes, thank you for passing the CBDC one over. It's a very hot topic right now. I know myself and 365 Days of Silver have been hotly covering this topic because it is a very hot topic right now, and as a content creator, we like to try and cover the topics that are popular, so it gives the viewers the content they want to see. So yeah, CBDCs, what is it? It's a central banking digital currency, and I'm not going to go too in depth because it's a bit of a rabbit hole, but essentially what it is a government's country wanting to create its own form of online digital currencies. Essentially what they've done is they have seen the rise and fall and rise again of these cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. And they've seen how popular they are and how much money people are putting into it. Now, they obviously don't like the fact that these cryptocurrencies are untraceable, untrackable to a degree, and the government do want to know where you put your money, where you store it, and they don't want to have no control over that. So they've obviously come up with the idea of creating central banking digital currencies, which will be linked to the central bank of a country. So, for example, in the United Kingdom's case, it will be linked to the Bank of England. So the Bank of England would completely know about every transaction, all of the details that they currently don't know about with some things such as debit cards. But essentially, it's nothing to worry about right now because it's not come into place, and it probably won't come into place, if at all, for many, many years to come. But if you're watching this video, you already probably invest in gold and silver. So I think if you do that, you're going to protect yourself anyway against any turmoil that might come with the future of CBDCs.
Brilliant answer.
Thank you, mate.
No problem. So Claire, I hope that's shed a little bit of light on what a CBDC is there for you.
Brilliant question. Okay, so moving on to another question. We've got loads here, so thank you everyone for inputting these questions. I've got another one here from Currency of Earth. You gave me lots of questions, so thank you for that. I really like this question. So the question is, what is your favourite country and what country would you like to visit at least once? So I'll pass that over to you, the Stat Collector.
What's my favourite country? Well, it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, part of you has to go for the country that you live in.
Yeah.
It's the country I know the best. So certainly, I'm proud. I'm a proud British citizen, but I love America. I really, really like America. I like the system they have over there. I'm very into following American politics, and I've travelled to America a couple of times in my life. My favourite place I've ever been has been Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
I think the favourite place I would like to go to is somewhere you're planning to go to this year. So yeah, that would be Japan. I'm really into the feudal era Japanese history, so I would definitely love to go over there. And in fact, while I'm on the subject, just a very, very fun fact, if you'd like to know.
Absolutely.
It was, and this is 100% true, there was a brief period in time where Abraham Lincoln could have sent a fax message to a samurai warrior.
No way. Wow.
All three of those things existed at the same time for a very brief period of time, which I think is just an amazing fact.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I love history. I should have said that when the hobby question came up earlier, because I'm a huge history buff. I love it. So yeah, any random facts like that, I'm all for it. So yeah. But yeah, great that you've been to America twice. I was fortunate enough to go to America in 2012 to visit the theme parks, and it was wicked. And I'd love to go back, maybe take my partner one day. But my answer to the question is my favourite country would be probably my country, because I'm very patriotic like yourself. You know, I'm proud to be British. I'm proud of the things that the country has achieved, especially in the past when you look at the era of 1945 and all that. But the country I would like to visit at least once in my lifetime is, as you touched on, is Tokyo, Japan. I would like to visit this main city to see the digital culture there and the cars. And I would also like to visit the old side of Japan, the history, the mountains, and see that culture. So it was on my to-do list this year. It's looking unlikely now, but nonetheless, I will do it in the next few years. So yeah, that would be my answer to that question. So thank you for that question. Really interesting one that wasn't about gold and silver and money. So it's nice to mix it up. So if you've got any more questions, Stack Collector, I'll happily pass the next one on to you.
Yes, no, I've got a few more questions left. I've received loads of questions. So again, like yourself, thank you to everybody who's taken time to leave the questions in the comments. The next question comes from Ethan, who's asked, now I think you're like a couple of these questions, more than one of those. The first question is silver versus gold.
Sure.
The second question is favourite pre-decimal coin. And the third question is best place to buy coins and precious metal.
Very good question.
Brilliant. Do you want to go ahead on that one, or?
Yeah, definitely. So the first question was I've lost my bearing. Sorry, what was?
I think I already know the answer to this one, but it's silver or gold.
Silver or gold. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, my answer is gold. I prefer gold over silver. I like both. I like the volatility of silver and the potential of the really great profits that could be made going into the future with silver. But I love the price, I love the security, and I love the popularity of gold. And my precious metals stack, in terms of value, definitely holds a lot more gold than silver. I like both, but without a doubt, gold is my favourite. So yeah, I'll pass that one over to you, mate, on the first question.
No worries. I'm the opposite to you. I actually prefer silver to gold. Now, obviously, if you're looking at value-wise, gold is the better of the two, hands down. But if you're looking at outside as an investment, as an actual thing, I prefer the way silver looks. I always have done. It's the most reflective metal. It's you can get some really, really good, you can get some really good images on these silver bars and coins, and I've always just been a bit more of a fan of silver jewelry than I am of gold jewelry. So gold, it depends in which way you're asking. If you're asking which one I prefer personally, which one's a better investment, which one I prefer to have as a coin, they're probably all different answers, but as a very generic answer, gold versus silver, it would be silver. So Ethan, your next question is favourite pre-decimal coin, and I think I'll take this one first off, if that's okay. Now, my favourite pre-decimal coin, generically, would probably be the half crown, which is these coins right here. That's an old pre-decimal, pre-1947 half silver, half crown right there with George V on it. So I love the half crowns. if I was going to go for an individual coin, the double florins, they're a brilliant coin. They're very rare. So they are one of my favourites. But then the gold sovereign's an all-time favourite of mine too. So I'm going to just offer those to you, Ethan. And unfortunately, I'm not going to pick one because I don't think I could. But it would either be the double florin or the half crown or the gold sovereign.
Yeah, great answers there. I'm glad you took that one first because I know not a lot about sort of half decimal coins and that, but what I do know is the half crown coin that you first showed. Thanks to you. And actually, 365 in the very first giveaway he ever did, he threw one of those in as a bonus as well. So I've got 2 or 3 or 4 of those half crowns now. And they're definitely my favourite for a different reason, really. I remember my dad used to tell me about when he was younger, how his uncle, when he used to come round, he would shake his hand, and in his hand he had a half crown coin. And my dad's in his 60s, and he used to say to me back in the day when I was young, if someone gave you a half crown coin, it felt like you were a millionaire to a kid anyway. So because of the stories he used to tell me with that, whenever I hold those half crowns, it reminds me of that. So that's probably why they're my favourites in terms of that.
Yeah, you've got the sentimental side to it there as well, which is brilliant. It's a great story. I love to hear stuff like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ethan's final question was best place to buy coins and precious metals. I would say personally, it depends who you are and your levels of expertise. If you just started stacking, the best place to buy is direct from the mint. The second best, and I'm sure you'll agree with this as well, Future, but the second best place to buy is a reputable bullion dealer like Chards, Tabex, Bullion by Post, that kind of place. Then after that, you've got your local stores, your local coin stores, antique stores, places like that.
Yeah. If
you're very, very good and you know what you're doing, there's places like eBay and other markets, but they do definitely come with a risk when you purchase them from places like that. So that is definitely what I would suggest for being better for a more experienced stacker than a beginner stacker.
Yeah. Great answer there, mate. I think you answered that really well without specifically pinpointing one bullion dealer, because I think it's kind of unfair almost to pinpoint one bullion dealer because there's so many good ones for different reasons. But I agree with you. The mint, the Royal Mint, it's the government of the UK's own producing Royal Mint, so it has to be the king, doesn't it? But there is so many brilliant private owned bullion dealers, like you said, like Shards, Atkinson's, Tavex is such a great one. And I think you answered the question as well. I like some of those I've just mentioned for their quality when they post the item and for being some of the cheapest out there. And you're right, there you can buy on eBay and places like the Silver Forum. I know 365 Days of Silver buys a lot on there, and he's obviously very experienced with that. He knows what to look for. But me personally, I never feel quite comfortable buying precious metals secondhand, so I tend to stick to online bullion dealers myself. But that was a great question.
And I think that's the best advice to give people as well. If you are just starting off, stay to the reputable people. You'll get there eventually. Everyone does. And at that point, you can try and look for better bargains. But those bargains do always come at a risk.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very well said. Okay. So moving on to another question I've got from Samuel. He said, would you say silver is a good investment as well as gold? So I guess what he's asking there is, should I buy silver instead of gold? So I'll pass that one over to you first, mate. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're talking about an investment, the actual cost per ounce is kind of irrelevant. I try and explain this to people by saying, if you're going to find a coin, you want that coin to be gold every single time. But if you're going to buy a coin, then it depends. £1,000 of silver is worth £1,000, just like £1,000 of gold is worth £1,000. So if silver goes up by 3% that week and gold only goes up by 2% that week, then you've made a lot more money in silver.
Yes.
So it definitely depends on the market at the time. But just because silver's a lower value metal doesn't mean that you can't make more profit from it when you're investing.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, definitely. I think you nailed it very, very well there. I think that's why so many people love silver, because a lot of people do see it as almost undervalued for its industrial usage. Like you said earlier, it's one of the most reflective metals, and it's one of the best conductors in terms of precious metals for electricity. So yeah, I think if you are asking the question, would you say silver is a good investment compared to gold, or as well as gold? Yeah, definitely. Earlier I said I prefer gold, but that doesn't mean I don't think silver is an unbelievably good investment. I think silver's got a much better upside potential, just in my opinion, than gold has, because of all of its industrial uses. And obviously it's a non-renewable resource, so you've got to ask yourself what happens when they get low on those stocks and stuff, and it's still going to be desired in the industrial market. What will that do to the prices? So yeah, silver, I think, like you said, is a good investment.
Yeah, I just want to touch on what you just said there, because when you're talking about it being an industrial metal and non-renewable, now I don't know if everyone is aware of this, but that means that there's a low limit on how low silver or gold can ever get. It can only ever go to just above the cost of mining silver or gold, because if the price of the metal ever comes close to the actual cost of producing it or mining it, what happens is the miners, they throw their tools down, they put the feet up, and they say, we're not mining any more silver. And then what that does is that causes more demand on the market, puts the price back up, the price will start to increase again, and as soon as it becomes worthwhile for them to start mining it again, they will start mining again. So unlike many other investments, gold and silver does have a bottom cap.
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant way of describing it. And to be fair with you, that's kind of a new version of information that I've ever heard about silver, and it's extremely informative and can give you a really good idea of how silver prices are controlled and how they work. So yeah, a great description there of sort of the benefits and how silver works in terms of its pricing and capabilities. So yeah, great question. Great answer. Have you got any more questions? I know I've got one more question, so I'll pass the next one on to you if you've got one.
Yeah, I've got two genuine questions and one that's a bit of a joke.
Brilliant.
The next question I've got, which is another brilliant question, a really good question. I don't think we've had anyone ask this yet. Is from Maiden She, who's asked, where is the best place to sell your stack in the UK? There aren't many coin shops, and eBay might be tricky to sell a large quantity if you aren't an established seller. Would you sell to big dealers like bullion by post?
Great question. Can I start with that one?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Brilliant. So I think that's a fantastic question. And I think you find a lot of new investors who are really, really new to buying gold and silver ask that question in the comments a lot. So yeah, I would say, in the UK, they're right. There's not a lot of places to walk into to sell your bullion back compared to, say, somewhere like America, where it seems there's a bullion or a coin shop on every street corner. But you can do this, and I don't feel like an awful lot of people know about it. So someone I work with who invested over £10,000 in silver quite a few years ago, he told me that he recently sold all of his silver back to the Royal Mint. And he literally made a phone call. He told them what he's got, and they sent a bloke down from the Royal Mint in an unmarked van to his address. He looked at the silver, and they agreed a price. I believe they pre-agreed a price over the phone. The chap came down to look at it, gave him the cash or bank transfer, and literally took the precious metals and took it away. I mean, how easy is that? Coming to your house, picking it up, as safe as you can get, and to get a price that quickly. So not a lot of people know that, but you can sell direct back to the bullion producers or any bullion dealer. I mean, if you've got anything to add to that, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple of bits. 365 did a video a few weeks ago, didn't he, about pawn shops?
Yes.
And selling back to pawn shops. You can definitely do that. You're probably not going to get as good a price as you would with a bullion dealer. The other thing I would add to that really is you've got, when it comes to selling, you've got two options. Like you said, sell direct to a bullion dealer, bullion by post for Royal Mint, any place like that. But you won't get the best price. If you ever do want to sell for the best price, you're going to have to sell items individually, and it will take you time to sell everything. So if you want top end, you're not going to get it overnight. If you want quick cash, you're going to be paying close to spot value than you are to the premium value. But that's pretty much all I'd add to that, mate.
Yeah, no, very well said. I think, also I forgot to sort of touch on the fact that obviously you can sell privately to people, but obviously with that comes risks. I wouldn't feel comfortable, meeting someone off of, say, Facebook Marketplace trying to sell a quarter ounce Gold Britannia like this. It's 450 quid or so. That's at least what you have to buy it for. That doesn't mean that's what we'll currently get for it, but you never know who you're meeting. So you can sell privately, but obviously with that comes the risks of not knowing who you're selling to. Yeah,
definitely
a really good question that probably will help a lot of new stackers that aren't that wise to what to do with it.
No, exactly.
Okay, so did you say you had 3 questions? Is there another one you wanna?
Yeah, I've got one more real question and another one that's a joke question, but I do still want to reply to. So the next, the last genuine question about stacking I've got is from Stanislav Sitar, who asks, do you have any strategy in silver stacking? Some plan goals. My goal is to reach 1,000 Oz of silver in total, 200 Oz collectible coins, kookaburras, pandas, etc., 200 Oz bars, 20 times 10 Oz bars, 200 Oz Philharmonics, 400 Oz other popular bullion coins, Ace, Libertad, Britannia, Maple Leaf, etc. Greetings from Slovakia.
Wow.
Yeah, so do you have a strategy for your stacking? I know you do. Do you want to go for yours first, or?
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, my strategy isn't actually that. How should I say? Isn't that complicated? It's quite simple. I set a goal. I like to set New Year's resolutions every year, and I try and complete those throughout the year. And for example, I've set a stacking goal for 2023, and that was actually to buy 2 1-ounce King Charles gold bullion coins in these blister packs. Now, as you can see, I've already done 1. I'm a little bit behind because I ended up buying this beautiful piece and some quarter-ounce gold bits, but my actual stacking goal was to buy 2 of these, so I should definitely accomplish that maybe next month. But yeah, really, my goal is to stack and invest in what I like, which is Britannia's. So right now, it's 1-ounce gold bullion coins, but then after I've completed my stacking goals on those, I'll probably just be collecting and stacking quarter-ounce gold bullion coins, because this is actually my favourite precious metal out of all of the weights and designs and etc. So I don't have a particularly crazy stacking plan. I just buy and stack what I want to have in my investment portfolio. So yeah, I'll move that over to you, mate.
Oh, brilliant answer there. Okay, my plan again, it's not complicated. It's pretty simple. It's the little and often strategy. So it's just picking up what you can when you can. But I do have the minimum of 1 silver Britannia a month, which is a very bare bones minimum. I haven't had a month yet where I've only bought the minimum. It's always that plus probably some pre-decimal, then maybe a proof or 2, depending on what the Royal Mint's brought out. I do have a similar strategy for gold, which is 2 quarter ounces a year. Now, I was supposed to be buying my first quarter ounce around this time of the year, but I'll be honest with you, between the proofs of the Harry Potter and the Mythical Legends and just a few other more premium pieces of silver I bought recently, I've kind of used that bit of pot up. Plus, there's the fact that I'm going to be looking into getting a new video editing PC soon, so I'm going to have to take some money out of the pot for that as well. So it's my strategy is on hold a little bit at the moment, but the minimum strategy is 1 silver Britannia a month, 2 quarter ounce gold Britannias a year, and then just whatever else I can get in the meantime.
Yeah, great stacking plan there, mate. Sort of similar to me, really, isn't it? You kind of set a goal throughout the year of what you would like to achieve. I probably should follow more of your guidance and setting something smaller. You know, in between me trying to save up for a big piece like that, maybe I should do something similar to you and buy one of these a month, because actually I think that's a great idea. It's not a lot of money to spend, and to buy one a month minimum is a very good idea, just to keep the pot of precious metals slowly building up. So yeah, great answer.
Brilliant.
Okay, so if that's okay, I'm going to answer my final question, which is, again, one of the sort of precious metal ones, and then maybe we can finish off with your final question that you said was a bit of fun, if that works.
Yeah.
Wicked. Okay, so I've got my final question from one of the most loyal subscribers in the Future Investments sort of subscriber base, George Videos. He's a massive supporter of the channel, so thank you for always supporting, mate. I appreciate that. Your question was... There we go. And so, yeah, George's question was, do I ever have second thoughts when hovering over the buy button before I buy gold and silver? So I guess what you're suggesting is, when I've added something to the basket, is there a moment going, ooh, do I buy it? No, I don't buy it. Do I buy it? So, yeah, good question. I know kind of what my answer is, but I would like to pass that over to you, mate, the Stack Collector, to answer that first, if that's okay.
Every free second of the day, George. I am constantly hovering over that buy now button, thinking, can I afford it? But yes, I'll make myself afford it. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But no, I am always on that, hovering over that button, looking for new pieces.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Great answer. I mean, yeah, I'm the same. I stack slightly different from the Stack Collector. You obviously stack little and frequent. I kind of wait quite a big period of time, and then I go bang, and I spend quite a lot of money in one go and buy like a big bulk load. When I do that, it's quite a big amount of money. So I definitely add it all to the basket and come out of the basket, in the basket, out the basket, in the basket, and I probably spend quite a bit of time going, ooh, do I spend this money? And then I almost put my hand over my eyes and go click. And then once it's done. But that's how I do it, really. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, I think every single stack has got a little bit of that in them, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. Good question, that one. Thank you, George. So
brilliant question.
The Stack Collector. I'm looking forward to hearing this question that you said.
Okay, now it might not mean a lot to you. Now, Dan Rumble, Dan's a great guy. He comments on quite a few of my videos. He's asked, do you live next door to Nathan Oakley 1980? Now, you're probably not aware of who Nathan Oakley is. I wasn't aware of who Nathan Oakley is. Apparently, I sound like Nathan Oakley, which is why he's asked if I live next door to him. Nathan Oakley is a large YouTuber in himself. He's one of those. He's a believer of the Earth being flat,
right?
And he has some quite interesting debates on his channel. I watched. I think it must have been Dan who pointed me across to him. But if you ever want a little bit of fun, watch one of Nathan Oakley's debate videos, because it's no holds barred. I mean, he was talking to this one guy on his channel. I ended up feeling sorry for the lad. But yeah, go check that out if you want a bit of fun. But no, sadly, I do not live next door to Nathan Oakley 1980. If I did, my life would probably be a lot more interesting.
That's a brilliant. Do you know what's funny? I actually, when we both agreed to do a Q&A video, I did check out how many questions you got on your community post, because I was interested to see if we were getting similar questions and how many we got. And I saw that question, and I remember thinking, that must be someone personally that knows the Stack Collector, because I was thinking, what on earth does he mean by that? It must be someone he knows. But now you've explained it, that makes perfect sense. But yeah. Good answer to that question.
And great question, Dan. Thank you very much for asking that, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So thank you, everyone, for the questions. I mean, some amazing questions there. I didn't even answer all of them because there's just so many, but I tried to do my best to answer at least one from everybody. So, yeah, a massive thank you for everyone with those questions. I appreciate it. I'm sure you, the Stat Collector, as well, appreciated all of those. You've got some great questions.
Absolutely, that's some amazing questions. I really appreciate the people taking the time to ask those, because I've had a lot of fun answering them with you.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a first for us both. Great actually hearing another precious metal stacker live on a joint video. It's nice and personal, and you get to mix in with the community even better. So thank you to everyone for watching. If you've stayed till the very end, I can see we're at 55 minutes, so utterly amazing if you've managed to persevere for us rambling all that time. A big thank you to you, mate, the Stat Collector. I've enjoyed staring very, very vividly at the screen, looking at your amazing stack there.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to say I might have to nick some ideas for my next few videos in the future, because I'm a bit jealous of all your candles and how amazing it looks. But on a serious note, I really, really appreciate you taking this opportunity to come and join me on this Q&A for the channel. I would love to, head over to your channel and do a Q&A one day if you're up for that. And I would say, if you haven't already subscribed to the Stat Collector and you're watching, please do so, or at least go and check out his channel, because he has got some of the best content with precious metals and coins on YouTube. And you're only at around 200 subscribers or so at the moment, but they're rapidly increasing, and I've been noticing that your views are rapidly increasing as well. So keep your eyes peeled for the Stat Collector, because a huge YouTuber who is going to be big in the future, if you aren't already. Big shout out to you, mate. You'll be able to find the Stat Collector's link in the description of this video, also as well as 365, because you are both channel members of the channel. So thank you very much for that. And I'll pass it over to you to sort of do a nice outro.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Future. And thank you so much for having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure to come and join you on the video. Just want to go back to what you were saying very quickly about my subscriber count. It's actually at 229 subscribers right now as we speak.
Wow.
I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody, I have got a 250 subscriber giveaway, which will be hopefully being drawn very soon. We've only got 21 subscribers left to go to get there. There's two absolutely fabulous prizes. There's the Paddington Bear 50p set in the album with 2 commemorative crowns, or you can look to win one of these beautiful Lunar Year of the Rooster 2 Perth Mint 2017 half-ounce bullions. Wow. So if you haven't taken the time to enter as of yet, it's completely free to enter, and it's open to everybody. If you are overseas, you are looking to win an online voucher rather than the actual coin. But please head over to the channel and enter that if it's something you're wanting to do so. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, again, Future, I can't tell you how much fun I've had coming here and getting to know you a little bit better and answering the questions for everybody. I would definitely keep an eye out for the video popping up on your channel, and I can't wait to watch it back.
Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. I must admit, I didn't expect to go for an hour, and it certainly hasn't felt like an hour. I've really seriously, and I mean this, really enjoyed this. And, hopefully it's popular. And I would love to do this again with you, or if any other YouTubers would like to do this with the Stat Collector or myself, get in touch. You can email us. Normally our emails are in the description of all of our videos. So, if you want to do it with us, get in touch, and I'm sure both of us will be glad to do it. So again, thank you, mate. I really appreciate you joining me on the live. It's been great fun. And I look forward to seeing any of your uploads in the future. And I look forward to uploading this one.
Brilliant. I've just got one last thing to say.
Go for it.
Keep stacking, take care, and goodbye.